Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Corey. There's a word that I wanted to touch on, and it actually came up last week from one of the scripture readings at Sunday service, and I knew I wanted to touch on it, but there's actually another word that came to mind this week that came out of an interaction that I had with a few friends, and that word is pretty important too, and it's respect, because I was not as respectful as I could have been in this particular situation. And, as humans, often we will try to justify our actions, and I felt like I was justified. But, when you sit back and you reflect on things like that, it doesn't matter if you're justified. If you weren't respectful, that's on you. And in this case, it was on me, and I wasn't respectful. And I felt badly about it, apologized to my friend. And as friends often will do, this friend of mine gave me grace and accepted my apology, and we're moving forward. But it is a good reminder for me, and hopefully for anybody that's having coffee with me this morning, that just that aspect of trying to remain respectful and being prepared to be respectful in all situations, it's important. It will save you from having that little pang that I had this week where I just knew I was wrong. And so got to be respectful and keep moving forward. The word that I heard in last Sunday's service, I believe it's Matthew 23:12. It talks about being humble. And I knew I wanted to touch on that, and as the Lord often does, He served me up a couple examples to share with you this week. Number one was I bumped into a buddy that apparently has coffee with us on Saturday mornings here, and he tells me, he goes, a couple weeks ago you were talking about that SDSU USD game, and you were pretty excited about it. I noticed the next week you didn't say a word about it, and I won't, because it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. But I felt like I could humble myself a little bit and put on the school colors of a certain school up north. And my little tip of the hat to the way they handed it to us here a few weeks ago. The other examples kind of came in conjunction with each other, except we were out at a restaurant this week with my family. Our son Connor was home this week. So good to see him. He doesn't get back from Florida as much as we'd like him to, but I know exactly how that goes. So I won't focus on that and just focus on the good time that we had this week. But we're walking out of this restaurant, and I hadn't really talked to anybody else in the restaurant. And on the way out, the last guy in there, guy from my hometown, and going from USD as well. And so I stopped to visit with him, and I hear Cassidy turn to Jossie and go, "Well, we almost made it out of here without Dad knowing somebody." And, I will say that it does make me proud that when we're in our town here in Sioux Falls, it's pretty infrequent that we go anywhere that we don't get an opportunity to visit with people that we've met through the years and talk a little real estate here and there. And just catch up on life. But I feel pretty good about the fact that I'm like, we've been involved enough where I feel like I know a lot of people. The very next day, I'm having coffee with a new friend of mine, and as we're sitting there over the course of the hour that we had coffee, there were half a dozen people that came in, talked to him, gave him a hug like they were long lost friends. And he had the grace to introduce me. Nobody knew who I was, and he obviously knows a lot more people in our town than I do, which, once again, made me step back and go, anytime you think you know a lot of people, well, you certainly don't know everybody, so stay humble. So I appreciated those examples to be able to share with you, and it's a good reminder for myself too. One business thing that I wanted to touch on this week is on my morning run this morning, a news story came up about the rising costs of insurance, like property and casualty insurance. And it's real. As some of you know, we actually have a division of the experience now that offers property and casualty insurance. And I thought it was just a good reminder that for some of you, you probably treat your insurance like I historically always have. Just, oh, well, I've got it, and whenever it renews, I'll pay it, and I just keep rolling down the road. Well, probably a pretty good idea to at least take a look at what you've got, call your insurance agent, and if there's different tweaks that you can make to try and limit those costs, probably a pretty good way to save some money. And I wouldn't be a business guy, I guess, if I didn't give a shameless plug that you don't have to be a client of the Experience Real Estate to be a client of the Experience Insurance. So feel free to hit us up on theexperience.com, and we'd love to give you a competitive quote if you do decide to do a little bit of searching. So that's my shameless business plug for today. I appreciate you sharing in some of the stories with me, and I hope to see you again next time at Coffee with Corey.